Okay, guys, greetings once again, and welcome to another edition by iCampSA. In this edition, we are looking at the 2025 June exam, specifically question 8 of paper 2. The focus of this question is part of your section, Geometry, and we are focusing on a 3D trigonometric question. So as you can see on the screen, here is the shape, and we are required to answer 3 questions. So let's go and have a look. So let's read this problem, which reads, in the diagram, A, B, and C lie on the same horizontal plane, with AB equaling, if you observe carefully, AC, and D is directly above A, such that your 2AD equals BC, and we are told that AD equals, if you look carefully, P. So we are told that AD equals P, but BC is 2 times AD. And if you look carefully, this is our BC. If BC is 2 times AD, then it means all what we are supposed to have here is 2 times P. Okay, let's just label that. And we are given that our angle A angle BC is X. And because these are equal, you should know that properties of an isosceles triangle, this is also going to be equal. So I'm just labeling what we know, and we are given the angle Y there, and that is all what we are given. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at 8.1. We are required to determine AB in terms of P and Y. So let's have a look at AB. If you look carefully, this is what AB is. And if you look at the triangle involved, it should be very easy. We're looking at 8.1. You should be able to see that we can extract a triangle like this from the problem. And that triangle is going to be DBA, like this. Where at angle A, if you observe carefully, that is where we have the 90 degrees. And we have a P here, and we have angle Y. And we're required to determine AB in terms of P and Y. And if you observe carefully, you will see that our AB, when we look at the angle Y, it is our adjacent side. So we're just going to use tan of Y equals, if you look carefully, our opposite side is P and our adjacent side is AB. Okay, and this is divided by 1. So what we can do is we can switch the numerator and the denominator on the left hand side. So what happens is it becomes 1 over tan of Y. You are allowed to do that. It becomes AB divided by, if you look carefully, P. And then we are now in a position where we can go ahead and multiply by P on the left hand side and also on the right hand side. And this will end up giving us a final answer. Maybe let's take it this side. It will give us a final answer, which is going to be AB equals, if you look carefully, it's going to be P divided by tan of Y. Okay, that is what AB is going to be as a side. Now, with that in mind, we are required to show that cos of X is equal to tan of Y. So let's go to 8.2. There's a couple of ways to deal with this problem, but it means our focus is supposed to be on the inner triangle. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm just going to quickly draw that triangle there. But remember, what we are required to do is to figure out or to show that cos of X will be equal to tan of X. So what we have is A, and then we have B, then we have C. But remember that these are equal. And AB, we just found now that it's going to be P divided by tan of Y. Sorry, let's quickly note that. So even the other side, we're just going to have P divided by tan of Y. And we are given that the angle here is X, and the angle, this side should also be X. And we can just make a note of why it's going to be equal to X. So A angle BC That is going to be x, and the reason is because we have base angles of an isosceles triangle. They are equal, okay? That is it. So if that angle is x, then you should easily be able to figure out, using maths which we learned ages ago, that angle A will be 180 degrees minus 2x. Okay, because these angles, all of them must add up to 180 degrees. So you can go ahead for that portion and say, let's say B angle AC, and then plus, if you observe carefully, A angle BC, and then plus A angle CB. This should be 180 degrees, and this is just sum of angles in a triangle, okay? And then from that, if you substitute, you will see that you will end up finding what we have here. So you'll end up finding that our A angle B, we're looking at, in fact, we're looking at B angle A. That is what we are trying to show, that it's equal to that. So B angle AC will just end up being 180 minus, if you look carefully, it will be 2 times. These two angles are equal if you observe carefully. So this angle here and that angle, they are equal. So meaning the angle which we see here and the angle which we see there, they are equal. So we can say minus 2 times, if you look carefully, AB C, which will end up being 180 minus 2x. Okay, done with that, we've shown why that is. And remember that just above we noted what this side is. The side that we have here is 2p, what we have here. So in order for us to ensure that we relate, we eventually get a cos here, it means we must use the cosine rule. That is what we are going to do. Use the cosine rule. Because what we want to have at the end, we need to be able to have a cos of x somewhere. And the cosine rule, we know it's going to have a cos of this. But what we are going to do is to use that angle and then use the opposite side. So what do I mean? It means the opposite side, which is 2p, it is just going to be 2p squared according to cosine rule. It will be equal to, maybe let's write it first in terms of the sides. So it's going to be bc squared equals, remember your cosine rule, you must have the two sides and an included angle. So it's going to be ab squared and then plus ac squared, then minus 2 times ab, then times AC, and then cos of, according to what we have here, it's going to be B angle AC, okay? That is what we are going to be having. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and substitute. So what we are going to have is 2p. In fact, let me see if we can take this to the next page. Okay, so let's go and continue on the coming page. So first what we are going to do is let's quickly make up some space here. We're looking at this problem now. So let's erase. We are trying to see how is cos of x related to tan of x. We are required to show that. So we're going to have 2p squared equals, if you look at AB and AC, AB and AC are equal. So it just becomes 2 times AB squared, okay? Minus 2 times, if you look carefully, AB and AC are equal, so it becomes AB squared, and then cos of that angle, and that angle is just 180 minus 2x. So I'm just going to substitute this. So we are going to have 4p squared equals 2 times our AB. If you look carefully, we did find it before. It is p over tan of y, and that is squared minus 2 times, if you look carefully, p divided by tan of y all squared, and then cos of, by now you should know what is cos of 180 degrees minus 2x. Cos is negative in the second quadrant. So what this is going to amount to is negative cos of 2x. Okay, now let's go ahead and simplify. So we'll end up having 4p squared equaling, if you observe carefully, we are going to have 2p squared divided by tan squared y, and then minus, if you look carefully, we are going to end up having a plus, so it's going to be plus 2p squared divided by tan squared y, and then cos of 2x. Okay, now if you observe carefully, we can obviously divide or factor out what is common here instead of dividing. So we have 4p squared, and if you observe carefully, we have 2p squared that is common. So I'm going to multiply it by also what is common, which is our tan squared y, okay, which is dividing there. And if you look at what is going to be left, it's going to be 1 plus cos of 2x. And if you think carefully, you should realize that the 2p or the p squared and the p squared should cancel. So let's maybe create a copy, just put it up here, and then just do that division. Okay, so we'll just divide by 2p squared, divide by 2p squared. And what will end up happening, we'll just be left with the 2 equals, if you look carefully, 1 over tan squared, is tan squared y into 1 plus cos of 2x. And if you look carefully, we would like not to have any denominator here. So we can remove the tan squared y by simply multiplying both sides by tan squared y. So what that means is we'll end up having 2 tan squared y equals 1 plus cos of, if you observe carefully, 2x. Okay, and all what we did on the previous step, let's just make sure that we do show it so that you guys don't become confused. We just multiplied by tan squared y, and what you do on the left, you always do on the right, tan squared y. And on the right hand side, what happened is that these ones, they ended up cancelling. Okay, and then now we have this problem above here, and we need to try and simplify this. How are we going to simplify this? I need you to remember something. Because we are looking for cos, not cos 2x, I need you to remember the double angle. So remember that cos of 2x can be written as 2 cos squared of x minus 1. Now, if you observe carefully, you can transpose this to that side such that you will see that 1 plus cos of 2x can actually be written in terms of cos squared. So 1 plus cos 2x is the same as 2 cos squared of x. So what does this mean? It means that for our problem, we have 2 tan squared of y equaling 2 cos squared of x. And guess what? These 2's, they cancel. Okay, and then we can square root both sides. So we have the square root of, so we're going to have the square root of tan squared y, and then this is going to be what you do on the left, you do on the right. You're going to have the square root of cos squared x. If you observe carefully, the square roots will cancel with the squares, and therefore giving us that tan of y equals cos of x, which is what the question required us to show. Okay, so it's very important that you are able to go and prove whatever which you are required to prove. Now with this 8.3, it should be very easy because we are told that x is 60. We should go and calculate the size of y. So remember what we just found. We just found that tan of y equals cos of x. So let's go to 8.3. We have tan y equals cos x. And what is happening is we are given that let x to be 60 degrees and calculate y. Okay, so this means we are going to have tan of y equals cos of 60 degrees. And if you go ahead and punch on your calculator, you will see that you'll end up having tan of y equals cos of 60 degrees is 1 over 2. Okay, then you can go to your calculator and put in your shift of your tan, or your shift tan of 1 over 2, and you will see that you will end up finding a y value, which will be 26.57 degrees. Okay, and this is what your teacher would be expecting as the final answer. So I hope that you do understand and you are able to solve all these questions which were given as part of question number 8. So make sure that you do time yourself very well. This question is 8 minutes, meaning ideally you are supposed to take round about 8 minutes to finish answering this. I am obviously going to take longer because I'm busy explaining the logic behind how things work here. But exam tip, be mindful of your time. If you spend longer than you should, move away from that question. Go to questions which you can finish quickly and then come back later to this one when you now have spare time. I hope that you understand and you are finding these videos helpful. Cheers and enjoy. Please share, like, and subscribe.